Hello! Today we're going to have a short demonstration on BandLab, which is known as a digital audio workstation. A digital audio workstation is a piece of software where we're able to take multiple snippets of audio and kind of synthesize them together into one larger composition. So, through our demonstration of BandLab, we're going to be writing our own compositions using our names as a backing or as an inspiration, if you will. So this is going to be today's objective. We're going to generate and record original rhythmic compositions that we create using this digital audio workstation, BandLab. So a little rundown as to how this is going to play out. We're going to start by chanting our names in rhythm during one measure durations. I will give a demonstration and we will move from there. We will then go around the classroom and present our rhythmic patterns. We will break into small groups of 3 or 4 to present these rhythmic patterns to each other. And then we're going to really focus up on the board. We're going to really watch and listen so that we know how to use BandLab. I'm going to give you a short demonstration, I'm going to record a couple of things, and then present the final product once we are all done. Afterwards, you will have an opportunity to record your own 4-measure loop of your rhythmic composition, and then we will present these compositions to the class. Before we go anywhere, though, it's going to be really important that we have a good sense of time and beat throughout this entire presentation. So please, everybody, take a hand and pat a simple beat anywhere on your body. You can tap on your head, gently tap on your face if you want to. I usually tend to tap on my shoulder so that I have a really good sense of beat really close to my heart in the central place of my body so I can really feel the time throughout. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please tap a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will go in and out tapping a beat during this presentation. If you would like to continue tapping a beat, you may do so. I highly suggest that whenever I am tapping a beat, that you are also tapping a beat to make sure that you have this feel, this time feel within your bones. Please take a listen after me. We're going to be taking our names and putting them into 4-beat, 1-measure patterns as part of our rhythmic composition. For example, my name is Mr. Van Dornick, so my contribution to this rhythmic composition would be the following. Mr. Van Dornick, Mr. Van Dornick, Mr. Van Dornick, Mr. Van Dornick. So, my name has quite a few syllables in it, but some of our names might have fewer or greater syllables within them. So here are a couple of other practice names for us to chant through. So my name is Mr. Van Dornick. My composition is Mr. Van Dornick, Mr. Van Dornick. But what if my name is Susan Thomas instead? Here's what this might sound like if my name were Susan Thomas, perhaps. Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas. What if, for example, my name is a lot longer, has a lot more syllables? I'm going to spice up the rhythm a little bit for the name Kaisha, Connecticut. Take a listen. Kaisha, Connecticut, Kaisha, 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 Connecticut, Kaisha, 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 Connecticut, Kaisha, 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 Connecticut, Kaisha, Kaisha. What I'd like you to do right now, I will say each of these out loud for 1 measure. And then in each repeating measure, I would like you to recite it out loud with the same rhythm, please. 1, 2, and Mr. Van Dornick, Susan Thomas, Kaisha, Connecticut, Kaisha, Kaisha. Very well done. What I'd like us to do right now, you will have about 20 seconds. I would like you to start saying your own name out loud. You might want to use just your first name. You might want to use just your last name. You might want to have all 3, 4, 5 of your names in there. So take the next 20 seconds, start chanting through your name into a 4-beat pattern. Four more measures. Very well done. So now that you have this rhythm within your brain, what we're going to do next is sit back, relax. No, just kidding. No, I need to show you a little demonstration on BandLab, how we're going to take these rhythms and put them into this digital audio workstation to create a multi-layered polyphonic composition. If you would like to pause the screen right now and read through each of these instructions, you may. However, I will be demonstrating each of them momentarily. So once we get into BandLab, we're going to be presented with our dashboard, with our main screen. Basically, it's going to have our feed, discover, services, all kinds of different buttons where you can kind of interact with the compositions that you've made. But for our purposes today, we're going to be looking at the right side of the screen, clicking the Create button, and clicking New Project. Anytime you want to create a new project, you're going to shift onto the right side of the screen, click Create, and click New Project. Because digital audio workstations are usually rather hefty pieces of software, it will take roughly 15 to 20 seconds for the dashboard itself to load up. So please be patient. You don't need to click New Project multiple times. It will load, I promise. As soon as we are inside of our first project, we are bombarded with this random screen that says Discover, New Track, all kinds of buttons, lots of colors, lots of text. For the purposes of this demonstration, we will really only be focusing on voice and audio. If you were to want to come back later and put in a drum machine sound, or if you want to plug in a guitar or other instruments into here, you may do so. However, we will be only using our microphone for this demonstration today. The software will ask you to have access to your microphones. So make sure you select the microphone you'd like to use and click Allow. To show that the audio is actually getting picked up by the digital audio workstation, you will take a gander down here. We have input level. When I'm quiet, the bar goes down. But if I'm super, super, super loud, then the bar starts jumping into the red. We want to make sure that we're not really getting into the red all too much. We want to try to live in the yellow or orange area. For now, please click the X next to voice audio. We're going to look at a couple of these different ribbons, a bunch of these different buttons on the screen right now, and kind of talk through each of them one by one. Starting with the center ribbon. If you've ever watched a YouTube video or something on Netflix or Hulu before, you're probably familiar with this little sideways triangle. This is going to be our play button. When we click play, our track down here, it's going to have a little white bar that shows us where within the composition we are at any given moment. And then also, the opposite of our play button is, of course, the two Twix bars. We got a pause button as well. So if I click this button again, it will pause the bar, it will stop moving, and I'm going to drag that sucker all the way back to the beginning. If, for example, I'm listening to the song, oh, it sounds really great, this is a jam, it's awesome, but I get really, really far within the piece of music. Say I skip way ahead over here, and I do not want to have to drag this white bar all around again. Thankfully, we have this nifty little play from the beginning button. What this is going to do is take the white bar wherever it's at, you click it, it's going to send it all the way back to the very beginning of our project. So if we're in the middle of the song somewhere and we really need to get back quickly, click this button, it'll bring us right back to the beginning. And finally, within this ribbon, we have the universal symbol for recording, which is, of course, a plain red circle. So if you have a camera or any other kind of recording software, the red circle usually always indicates, hey, we're going to start recording. Well, before we start doing that, however, I'd like to have your attention shifted to the left side of the screen by this timing ribbon. This is going to have all of our settings pertaining to time and speed and all of those things. This rightmost button, 4:4, this is going to tell us our time signature. We're not really going to focus on that today. What I would like us to focus on is this next button to the left, which is 120 BPM. What could that mean? In the biz, BPM basically means how quick a piece of music is going. BPM itself stands for beats per minute, telling us, hey, is the piece of music fast? Is the piece of music slow? So for example, if I were to bring this number all the way down to 40, for example, and I click the play button, you're going to notice that this white bar is moving rather slowly. The beats per minute is only 40, meaning we only have 40 beats in a minute, which is rather slow. Conversely, if I were to jack this number up all the way to 240, you're going to notice once I click play, oh, that sucker is zipping right along. There it goes. We're going to pause, go all the way back to the beginning, and we're going to set this composition to 100 beats per minute. That's typically a normal walking speed or around the speed of a heartbeat. So it's a really nice, easy BPM to fall into. This final button within our time, our ribbon, our meter ribbon, is going to be the metronome button. It looks like a little square, a little triangle with some kind of weird line and a circle in it. A metronome basically is going to keep consistent time for us. So when we were patting our shoulder before, or our heads, or wherever, this was keeping time on our bodies. So we're able to hear and feel the beats, the timing. What the metronome does for us instead is it plays a little click for each beat instead. So instead of having to tap ourselves, we can just hear the beats of the metronome instead. Please take a listen. So you can hear it has a little bit of like a beep in the background. And that's going to be our timing right there. So right now, we have a couple of these tools within our tool belt right now. What I'd like us to do is to go back to the beginning of the piece, and we're going to record, first off, my name, Mr. Van Dorn. So once we click this record button, it's going to give us a little bit of a countdown before we actually come into the composition. So as soon as I click record, it's going to give me a little countdown, and then I will start chanting my name like I did earlier. 2, 3. Mr. Van Dornick. Mr. Van Dornick. Mr. Van Dornick. Mr. Van Dornick. As soon as I am done recording, it is important that I click the stop button, which takes the place of either the record button or the back to the beginning button. Because this is only one part of our composition, since we will be putting 3 or 4 voices together, what I'd like us to do is add another track. We're going to add another name. So please click on the button that says Add Track. And like before, it's going to show us a bunch of little squares with a bunch of text. Remember, we're just going to be using voice and audio for this demonstration today. The input level is telling me that it is picking up my microphone. So we will go back to the beginning and we will start recording another voice. Before we do so, however, it is important that on this first track right here, this yellow highlighted track where I say Mr. Van Dornick, it's important that I click this little M button. You might be wondering what that means. The M means mute. So if you're recording multiple tracks all together and you do not want to hear Mr. Van Dornick in the background all the time, you click this little M button, it's going to mute it out completely. Conversely, if I click the S, that means solo and only this track will play. Right now, we're going to click the M, it's going to mute it out, and we're going to re-highlight this new track. What was our other name? We had Susan Thomas before, right? We're going to click record, and I'm going to record Susan Thomas now. Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas. There we go. We have another track right there. And finally, we're going to add one more. I will mute Susan Thomas, and we're going to go and record this last one. Kaisha, Connecticut, Kaisha, 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 Connecticut, Kaisha, 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 Connecticut, Kaisha, 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 Connecticut, Kaisha, Kaisha. We're going to click stop, and we're going to now listen to each of these pieces of audio all stacked on top of each other. So please, really focus, try to lock into this beat, and try to listen to each of the different voices all at once. Let's give this a play.
Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas, Susan Thomas.
So you could hear all of the different voices all at once. They're all layered on top of each other, all in 4-beat, 4-measure segments. So this is the part of the presentation where we would have our own work time to work on our own compositions. We would break off into groups, and each of you would record your own names. Remember, your first, middle, last name, your first name, your last name, any combination of those. You would have work time to record each of those. For this demonstration, however, we will just listen to the recording. We just listened to the recording, our final presentation. If we were doing this in front of a class, of course, we would listen to each other's and share all of our compositions with each other. Very short compositions, but compositions nonetheless. And with that, as a little wrap up, within our groups, I would like you to turn to each other and share one specific skill that you learned while working with BandLab or during this demonstration. It can be something with the timing or any of the ribbons that we had, or how to make a metronome work, or how do we click on new instruments, how do we make a new track. So thank you very much for listening to this demonstration. If you have any questions, please let me know. But remember, this was just a cursory glance on how to record within BandLab. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye-bye.